Welcome to In the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. In the Huddle is brought to you by Mole Lake Casino Lodge and Conference Center. Now, here's Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman B.J. Raji.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly. Good to have you along here this evening after the Packers knock off the Denver Broncos 49-23. That has a pretty good ring to it, doesn't it, BJ?
Definitely. I definitely like that margin of victory. I hope we can continue doing that.
4-0 on the year. What's it like to be 4-0 right now?
To my recollection, I think it's only two teams that are 4-0 currently. Mm-hmm. So to be among the two teams, that's definitely something we're proud of. And I think that it's so hard to win in this league. So I think when you're 4-0, I think you like where you're at.
Are you surprised at this stage? There are usually more teams that are unbeaten through just 4 games. Are you surprised there's just 2?
No. I mean, honestly, a lot of these games are real close. They're coming down to a few plays, and I think that the teams that are having the most success are making the plays in critical situations.
Once again, yesterday, a game that I don't think I ever felt there was a point where it was in doubt, but Denver gave you a run. I mean, they played pretty hard yesterday. They
definitely played hard. I mean, we knew they would. They have a tough scheme offensively. They like to run the power, 2 good backs. They got us on a few plays, but ultimately, the way we play defense, a few plays shouldn't beat us.
They kept extra guys in, and Max protected a little bit more and made it once again hard to get to the quarterback. Orton had a lot of time to throw the football yesterday, and in the NFL, that's pretty much the formula. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. If they have time to stand back in the pocket, they're going to be able to complete some balls.
Definitely. They definitely had a lot of max protection, 2 receiver routes. And you would like to think that you had that covered, but sometimes the calls just beat the defense, like particularly that flea flicker pass.
148 points scored by the Packers in the first 4 weeks. That's a new franchise record for the first 4 games of the season. That's getting it done. I tell you, there's got to be a pretty sense of confidence every time you go out there the way the offense is playing.
Oh, definitely. Anytime you have an offense like we have and you have the ability to score pretty much at the drop of a hat, I think it definitely excites you as a defense knowing that you turn the ball over, you get the ball away, you guys have a chance to score.
All right, you mentioned the flea flicker. We'll go back to that. Out of all the flea flickers I've ever seen pulled in the National Football League or anywhere, that one, in my opinion, Noshan Marino carried out that fake about as well as I've ever seen it carried out.
Well, plays like that, generally, the reason they work is because they're surprised. Obviously, if we were anticipating a flea flicker, it obviously wouldn't have worked. Mm-hmm. But, the timing of the call, I think we could have done some better jobs up front in the secondary as far as discipline. But, sometimes you got to tip your hat to a good play.
Yeah, well, in case in point, short time later was the onside kick by the Packers. I mean, it's a thing that the coaches scout. They see a pattern. They see the way the kick team, the return guys are retreating a little bit. I mean, perfect time for a surprise.
Well, exactly. Going back on my previous point, those type of plays, the surprise and the team not being ready for is what generally gets you over the hump and what generally converts those type of plays. It was a great call by Coach McCarthy or whoever it was, and I'm glad we recovered it.
Do you guys have any idea that's coming at all?
I didn't have any idea it was coming. I was on the opposite end getting ready to go on the field, and I saw those guys kick the onside kick, and I was excited that we got it.
And you get a little more rest.
Well, that comes along with it, but I was more excited about the possession.
No question. Aaron Rodgers, 408 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, including 2 additional touchdown runs, but he kind of came away not feeling super about that performance. What do you think?
Well, I think that's just part of him being modest. I can't really tell you how he was thinking, but he played pretty well, 6 total touchdowns. Like a game like this, I mean, it's a good showing.
All right, defensive unit gave up 384 total yards yesterday, 6.9 per play average. And in the first 4 weeks, 1,627 yards through 4 games. The offense is kind of buying a little time for you guys right now, which is a good thing because that's what good teams do. If one side of the ball needs a little extra something, you get it done.
Right. I mean, ultimately our number one goal is to win. We obviously have some work to do. That's the exciting part about you winning. We're not playing your best football. you're not in a position to get complacent. And I think that's a good thing for us. And hopefully we can build on this and continue to play good ball.
Can you pinpoint what the problem is? I mean, the rush defense has been outstanding. But
what good teams do is you take a look at yourself. And I'm a part of the defensive line, and I think we could do some technique things better. I'm sure if you would talk to a secondary guy, they'd say we play some technique things better. I guess making a few more plays, but I mean we missed a few more tackles than we usually miss. But it's a few things, but particularly starting from up front, I want to worry about myself, and I think that I can actually play better, and I think the whole defensive line would attest to that.
There was a point in time last year where I don't know that it ever was, you gave up this many yards last year, but still there was a point in time where whatever week it was, 2/3 of the way through the season, all of a sudden, bam, you guys just hit, and it was like you punished people the rest of the way.
Well, I mean, it's a different season. I mean, it's good to compare to last season, but I think that we're 4-0. We haven't been that since, I believe, 2007. And I think there's positives in that. We're winning games. There's always room for improvement, and I think that with the type of guys we have and the type of coaching staff we have, we'll get it corrected.
Yeah, I guess I'm comparing the lesson learned here is that you know you're confident that it's coming, that it'll come, be patient, continue to work, that kind of thing.
I like to think so, but that's why you play the games. You know what I mean? You never know exactly what's going to happen until you get out there and you play it with each other.
Were you aware that there were new security measures going into place at the stadium yesterday, and that 2,000-3,000 fans weren't in their seats 15 minutes past kickoff? I
did notice that pregame the stands were empty. But I really didn't pay too much mind. I figured that they were doing something. I don't really. There's no way I could have been aware of that at the start of kickoff.
If you're holding the ticket, you can't be very happy about that.
I mean, I guess not. I have no say or any control over that.
You know, I did a little math. All right. Now let's just say there were 2,000 people that did not get in the gates on time, and they were 15 minutes late.
Right.
All right. That's 2,000 people that would have bought a beer. At Lambeau Field prices, I think, what's a beer cost at Lambeau, folks? About $7 ballpark. That's $14,000 the Packers missed out on for 15 minutes because 2,000 people weren't in the stands.
You know what?
You got to get that fixed, man.
I think the Packers are doing okay with money.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, meet tonight's guest, and a whole lot more from Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network.
To In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman B.J. Raji.
And we are back at Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly. Good to have you along. It's brought to you by Mole Lake Casino, Lodge and Conference Center. Enjoy the excitement of Vegas close to home at Mole Lake Casino, Lodge and Conference Center in beautiful Crandon, Wisconsin. Well, we welcome to the stage in our second segment here alongside co-host B.J. Raji, tonight's guest in his third NFL season out of the University of Georgia. Let's welcome defensive end Jarius Wynn.
Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome, Jarius. Good to have you here.
Yes,
Sixth
sir.
round draft pick in 2009. And you actually are the current sack leader on the Green Bay Packer football team with 3 in the first 4 games.
Oh, man. I just been out there just trying to work hard, and it's falling in place. So try to continue to do the same thing.
2 sacks in the Bears game. On top of that, I mean, if you're gonna get sacks for these folks right here, doing it in the Bears game is all right.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about how he's been playing so far, BJ.
Yeah, well, me and Jarius are fairly close. We're real close, actually. My best friend on the team, and I've just watched how he's worked and progressed as a player. Just from being ordinary average to being able to beat one-on-one blocks and help us win and help us get pressure on the quarterback. I mean he's made a complete turnaround as far as his dedication and his worth to the team.
You guys know what this is like, and people at home kind of just see the end result on Sunday, but when we talk about drafting guys, I mean, this is why this organization has been so successful over the last several years, because it doesn't matter what round you're drafted in. There's talent in low rounds just like there's talent in high rounds, and it's up to the coaches then to get them in, learn the system, coach them up. And you see this every day, BJ. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be undrafted free agents. We see young players turn into great football players.
My whole philosophy is you can put a grade and a speed on someone, how fast someone is, how strong someone is, but you can't put a rating on someone's willingness to get better. I mean, for how much he's going to prepare each week. There's no grade you can put on that. So a lot of these kids are coming out and they'll blow up the combine, and you'll see these guys, being high first-round picks, but you don't know what type of work ethic he has. You're just going off numbers, and I feel like Jarius, he's a good athlete, he's a great athlete, but I think his preparation gives him the edge as far as being able to make plays and out there on the field.
All right, I know you and Jarius probably, as close as you are, you can probably imagine what he was going through on Christmas Day last year. I mean, not Christmas Day, but on the Super Bowl last year, the day of the Super Bowl, when Jarius' wife gave birth to their second child, and you got the Super Bowl to play. I mean, that's pretty good timing, huh?
Oh, man, yeah, it's definitely great timing, but...
What were you going through? What were you thinking?
My head was everywhere. But it was one of the best feelings in the world, and, even though I had the baby there, and winning the Super Bowl, it couldn't get no better than that.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
Did you guys talk a lot that day?
When I woke up, I got word that Jarius was having his baby, and then immediately I just felt at ease. Like, if this is not a sign, I don't know what is a sign. One of my friends and my teammates is giving birth, or not giving birth himself, but his family is having a baby boy on Super Bowl Sunday. I was just like, what better sign this is our Sunday, and I think that, I don't know how much it played into it, but I just liked our chances, and I was put at ease when I heard that, and obviously proud of him and happy for him.
Yeah, well, as a father of three, I've always thought that the dad goes through more than the mom anyway, so.
Yeah. I hope there's not many moms in here to attack you.
Yeah, I hope my wife's not listening. You were waived in the final cutdown by the Packers on September 4th last season, but then re-signed September 14th after Justin Harrell was lost for the season with a knee injury sustained in the opener at Philadelphia. There's a lot of Packer fans sitting right in this room. I could have told you that was going to happen, that you'd be back, right?
Oh, man, I mean, at that point, I didn't know. It was one of the baddest feelings I ever went through. And, it worked out for the best, and I feel at home when I'm here.
What did they tell you when they let you go?
It was just like, it was a hard decision to make, and they made the strongest decision they've made. But if anything happened, they'll call me back. So.
Yeah, and that they obviously did. I heard they called you during the game. Is that true?
Yeah, they did. They called me at halftime and told me, get ready to come back to Green Bay. So I was talking to I had texted him right after the game. I was just like, man, I'm on my way back, man. And I just felt at ease, It was a great feeling, especially being around some people that I already knew. Mm-hmm. And, I already knew the system. And it was just, from that point on, just let everything go and keep working forward and getting better.
And wasn't there another team out there that had lost somebody that same day too, and the Packers wanted to make sure that your services were? That's why they called you at halftime.
You don't have to ask Jarius.
Yeah. Are you aware of that at all?
No, I wasn't really aware of that, but I had took a trip to Seattle and talked to them, but it wasn't no say so. But I was just glad to get back here.
Yeah, getting called at halftime of football games. Hey, we made a big mistake. Will you come back? Released for the first time, and obviously you hope that never happens again. Where'd you go? What'd you do for a week and a half?
A week and a half, like I said, I took a trip to Seattle and got back home. Got back to Green Bay. I packed my stuff up, went home, and I was just like, man, I hope something happens soon. And it happened. It definitely happened. 2
seasons at the University of Georgia. The first 2, you were at the Georgia Military College. That just sounds hard.
Ooh.
Military college.
Anything with military in it is not going to be fun.
It totally was tough. Always on the time frame, and had to dress in little uniform, so I probably looked crazy. But it taught me a whole lot. I learned a whole lot from being there.
Would you say you needed that when you look back? Hindsight, that it was a big help for you?
I definitely feel like it helped me a lot through life.
Punching the clock, so to speak? Having to play by rules?
Exactly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because usually, I mean, how many rules, BJ, when you go to Boston College, how many rules did you have to live by?
None.
I wouldn't say definitely. I mean, at Jesuit school, this is not the traditional state school, you know. I'm not saying that it was a prison because it wasn't,
Yeah.
you know. They gave us our freedom, but you had to act a certain way because Boston College has a certain persona, I guess they want to display. Being a Catholic university, certain things aren't tolerated.
Okay, there's a little bloodline in the in the family as well as far as the National Football League. Your cousin, running back Garrison Hurst, who was the 3rd overall pick of the Cardinals a while back. So there's a little bit there, isn't there?
Yeah, it definitely is.
You pretty close to Garrison?
We talk time to time, but we're not really close.
What's he doing now?
Chilling.
So you're not that close, huh?
Not that close, exactly.
In the summer times, you helped your dad build houses, high school and college. Was that like a job, or is that like Dad saying, "Hey, come on and
let me show you what you
help
want to
give back
do.
a little bit"?
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where he was just trying to teach me a lesson, because I definitely didn't want to go out there and do that. But
Yeah.
you know,
How hard was building homes?
it was definitely hard.
Harder than the military school?
It was. Nah, it wasn't that hard.
What part of the home did you have to do?
I had to do like the cement, like make the mixture.
That's the grunt work right there, my friend.
Definitely. And push wheelbarrows, throw bricks. Yeah, it was definitely hard.
Yeah,
I hated it.
Sounds like a great time.
And when your dad says, when your dad's thinking he's going to teach you a lesson and teach you what hard work is, he wasn't kidding.
He wasn't at all.
Highlight in the NFL so far.
I gotta say those 2 sacks on Cutler.
2 sacks of Cutler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about my highlight?
Yeah.
Of your career so far.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Like, what moment?
Oh yeah, definitely the 2 sacks on
Yeah.
Cutler.
Sacks.
Yeah, 2 sacks on Jay Cutler.
A little confusion.
So yesterday, I'm told that Tim Tebow, of course, got in and played one play.
Right.
And you were in on that tackle.
I
right?
was.
And I was and I was told that you said the dude's weird.
Me? I just, like, because he was laying on the bottom of the pile and he was, like, smiling. I was just like,
For real?
like, I'm thinking in my head, like, we're playing football, you know that, right?
All right, we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue with a couple more thoughts on Tim Tebow and a whole lot more. We're live at Tanner's in Kimberly. Back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman B.J. Raji.
And we are back live at Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly. Transportation for our guests tonight and every night provided by L&S Classic Limousine. I'm Bill Scott as In the Huddle continues. B.J. Raji, Jarius Wynn on the program this evening. B.J., of course, with me as my co-host each and every week. Let's go back to where we left off with Tim Tebow. You said he was, you were in on the tackle. He's on the bottom of the pile, and he's smiling?
Yeah, honestly, I'll make the tackle. You know, they try to win that QB draw, so I was excited about getting the tackle for loss. So I was about to, like, start talking some noise to him, like, just, like, saying whatever, and then he just started smiling. I was just like, there's no point in really saying anything to this kid.
Nothing's going to rattle him, huh?
Nah, he's just smiling, he's having a good time, and I really don't know what was on his mind.
You were, of course, his one carry was for -1 yard, and that's the only playing time he saw all day.
Right.
You weren't really surprised that he didn't see any more, huh?
You know what? I was actually more surprised that our crowd was, like, chanting Tebow. Was that not weird to you?
Extremely weird.
Yeah, I was just, at some point I'm in the defensive huddle and I'm like, what are they yelling? I thought they were booing at first. Like, what are they booing? And they're like chanting Tebow at Lambeau Field. That's probably a first.
Yeah, it's the first time he's ever been there. I can't imagine him chanting his name when he's not there, but
an opposing team's quarterback.
yeah, no, you're right. I'm just, so what are you thinking when that's happening?
I think we had a big lead at that point, so I didn't really think it through, but it definitely baffled me. I was shocked for
You
like,
should have did one of these, put your hand by your ear and then do the Raji, do a little shake. And then see if you can get him going, Raji, Raji.
You know what? I'll keep that in mind next time, Bill.
I mean, I don't want want you going, hating on us here. I mean, you can't hating on Tebow just because he's getting a little chant here.
You see this helmet? What does this say? Green Bay or Broncos? Whose side are you on?
I'm on your side.
Oh, okay.
All right. Charles Woodson recorded career interception number 50 and returned his 11th interception for a touchdown. That ties Darren Sharper for second on the all-time list. He's now just one behind the all-time leader, Rod Woodson. This guy just never ceases to amaze you, isn't it?
Yeah, Charles is one of those guys that I grew up watching him in college. He's a playmaker. Great ball skills. He's great student of the game, great athlete. And I come to this level. Obviously, before I got to this level, I was watching football. I knew who he was. I knew his capabilities, his talents, and then now just having the pleasure of playing with him is just I watch him basically at all levels and just seeing greatness, like literally right before me.
Yeah, you know what's fun as you watch him is how much he obviously studies the game and does his work on film and he knows what the other team is going to do, and he reads the quarterback and he reads the receiver, and he jumped play. He just knows. I mean, that interception, he jumped the play. He knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, it just goes back to his preparation. That's what you're talking about now. That's film study. But I've also seen him. Game day. We have two buses. A bus that leaves 3 hours before. Where generally, I think rookies are designated to be on that bus. And like some veterans, they're allowed to come an hour later. Like Charles was always on the first bus. I'm always coming in. He's always warming up. He just does whatever he needs to do to get ready. And I think that's a big part of his success.
What did you think when Donald Driver was down? Did you think he was coming back?
I was obviously, like everyone in the stadium, hoping, and praying. But that just shows you, like, just in football, some things that you really can't account for to occur. For Aaron to score, get hit into his leg. I mean, that's something you really can't. If you're Donald, how do you protect yourself against that? That's one of the nastier sides of football.
Yeah, the doc said, Donald, once you shower up, you're done for the day. We need to get an MRI. We need to get a look at that thing. They don't have that particular piece of equipment in Lambeau Field. So he said, shower up, you're done for the day. He said, wait a minute. He said, I gotta go finish the game. Now, I guess your thoughts on that. I mean, he's an aged veteran, so at this point of his career, he probably figures, you know what, I want to go out and I want to play. Maybe somebody 8 years younger might have thought otherwise and said it's probably in my best interest to do the MRI thing.
I don't look at it like that. I think that
I knew you wouldn't, of course. But.
No, just knowing drive and knowing his character and his toughness. The score was. I mean, if it's 35, 40, 17, I don't think Driver's coming back. But I think he didn't really feel that we had a great handle on the game, and he wanted to come out. I'm sure he wanted to help us win the game ultimately. I think if the halftime score is a little bit different, I think that action would be taken different. I think that just I have to give him credit. I think that he felt that we needed him and he wanted to be there for us.
Well, he did get a clean bill of health today. The Packers head coach Mike McCarthy said he'll be back. He won't miss any games.
That's great news.
Yeah, that's great news. Ryan Grant also given the clean bill, so he will practice this week and be ready to go next week as well. So it's really too bad he had to sit this week because he really had a special game in Chicago.
Yeah, but hopefully he's in it for the long haul, and sometimes that's what you need. You need a week of rest for you to be able to withstand the long lift of the season. And I think that hopefully that's what's happening in Ryan's case.
When you look at that thing, everybody wants to say, well, Starks had a great week this week, and Grant had a great week this week, and Mike McCarthy from the very get-go has said we need two backs to be able to compete and play at the top level in the National Football League. We want two. We want two healthy backs to rotate, and they have that right now. And everybody wants to say, well, Starks had the great game, and so Ryan Grant isn't going to get as many carries. When Grant comes back and plays well, Starks didn't necessarily play as well in Chicago, so now it's Grant's turn. It's just like defensive linemen. Often, you rotate, you keep guys fresh, and you do it together as a team, right?
I just feel like that's the great thing about football. So many angles and so many topics. That's just another topic of a position battle, so that's definitely controversial, and that's definitely raises a lot of opinions. But I think that ultimately we have two good running backs, and I think that having two good running backs is definitely an asset, especially to an explosive passing team.
If you need a loan and you can't hit up BJ, you can now knock on Jordy Nelson's door.
Exactly.
Jordy Nelson signed a new 3-year contract to stay with the team through at least 2014.
Good for Jordy.
And that's great news because Jordy Nelson, I think, is probably elevated himself into probably that number 2 spot the way he's playing right now.
You know what? I really can't comment on where he deserves to be, but his production speaks for itself. Obviously, with the biggest game of his career in the Super Bowl, and him coming out, and I remember particularly in Carolina that big play. He just seems like he has a big play a game, and he could blow the top off of a defense, off of a coverage.
Yeah, that double move he made yesterday, and then catches the touchdown by him. He was so wide open, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, Jordy's a special talent. He has great ability, he has great size for a receiver, but he has tremendous speed, and I think that his route running, I'm sure, has progressed, and I think that he has a bright future, and obviously I'm glad it's with us.
When you're the best team in the business, and the Packers are right now, all right, everybody's looking for ways to stop you, to slow you down, trying to pick out what you do well and find ways to beat it. I would imagine you guys are seeing that all the time, and it's important to evolve all the time. You don't want to show your hand, you want to save the best stuff for when you really need it, but it's always an evolution, a growing process, isn't it?
I just feel that, like, generally coaches coach, players play. I'm not really in Dom's mind. Dom tries to do a good job during the week of giving us, a little insights to what he might be calling, but whatever he calls, he's not going to always be right. I think that's why technique comes into play. Sometimes technique saves you, and obviously Dom gets it right the majority of the time, but like any human, he's not always right.
Devin Hester took back a punt, 69 yards for a touchdown, the 11th time in his career he's done that. That's a record. Bears win yesterday. Lions down 27-3. Probably had no business winning that game yesterday, but Tony Romo to the rescue again.
Oh, man.
Did you catch any replays of that game?
I did. Obviously, Romo's going to catch the blunt of that, but I think that the Lions were able to score points. Romo doesn't play defense, so they get a turn to
Yeah, but he threw 3 picks, though, so.
Okay, Bill. What do you want me to say? Tony Romo doesn't play defense, like I said. Obviously, it wasn't a 14-point game. I know he threw 2 pick sixes, but they had to play defense somehow, they didn't get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and the Vikings still winless at 0-4. I know that doesn't break your heart.
Anytime anybody in that division loses, I'm happy.
All right, our email segment is coming up. BJ Raji and Jarius Wynn back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back at Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly with BJ Raji and Jarius Wynn. Time now for our email segment of the show. Brought to you by Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau, the tallest and largest ski area in Wisconsin with over 700 vertical feet and 74 runs. This year offers an expanded beginner area, a new fleet of rental equipment, and 10 new snow guns for the best snowmaking in the state. For more information and discounted season passes and lift tickets, go to skigranitepeak.com today. We'd like to welcome listeners to the show tonight listening in Eau Claire and WBIZ, in Marinette and WMAM, in La Crosse and WFBZ, in Sparta and WKLJ, and in Whitehall tonight on WHTL. Now let's head out to the audience. Justin Hull.
All right, remember, inthehuddleshow.com. That is the website if you want to submit your questions there. We had over 25 questions this week, so we had to whittle it down to our best ones, or just ones that I felt like reading, I guess. So, let's go here. First question is from Ryan in Kaukauna. Jarius, how does it feel to be the first Packer ever to sack Brett Favre?
Oh, man. It definitely was a great feeling. I really worked hard to get that sack. It was one of the best feelings to sack Brett Favre. It was just tremendously a great feeling.
You always take great satisfaction in picking on senior citizens?
No, it's just, just one of those good feelings. Like, I didn't even think it was going to happen. Like, I had to work through 2 double teams to get there, and it fell in place.
I'm sure you got a few extra congratulations from some of the former teammates on that one, though, right?
I did, right?
I mean, who doesn't want to sack Brett Favre? And people that don't know football know Brett Favre. You know what I mean? So, you got people back home, watching the game, obviously, and we're definitely fond of the play. And I think, it's definitely a feather to your hat in sacking Brett Favre, Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right.
That and millions of Packer fans vicariously living through you at that moment. So we'll get to our next question here from Dennis in Appleton. What do each of you do to celebrate a victory?
It depends. Sometimes if I have family in town, then that definitely changes the plans. But I'm always looking to get up with the teammates and celebrate a victory. Hopefully we'll be doing more of that than the other side of playing the game and not winning.
How about you?
Definitely the same thing. I got a wife and kid at home, so sometimes I get to go out, sometimes I don't. But most of the time, she let me have a little freeway and chill with my buddy.
Go from sacking Cutler to sacking diapers? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, you're right.
Sacking diapers, what does that mean?
I don't know. Changing them?
Just thought I'd ask.
My attempt of creativity failed. Thanks, BJ.
Terrible.
Next question is from Mark in Fond du Lac. If you guys could play any other position on the football field, which one would it be?
Me? Definitely receiver. I got probably one of the best hands on defense. I think so.
Self-proclaimed.
D-line wise.
Self-proclaimed.
He caught the pick, but that'd have been me. I definitely would have did the same thing.
Probably would have tripped over the grass and fell. But I don't know. I just think I'll probably want to stick with the defense. Probably free safety, just be able to roam and just knock people out, man. Just roam and just knock people out. I'm always so close on the action, I don't really have much reaction time. I can imagine a receiver running, jumping, going for the ball, and I have 20 yards to run and just knock them out. That gotta be fun.
That would give alligator arms a whole new meaning with BJ roaming the middle. Wide receivers would not want to stick out and hang on to a football with BJ.
Nah, would you?
No, not me.
There you go.
All right, we'll get to the next question here from Matt in Madison. Outside of the Packers, of course, what NFL team has the best uniform?
What do you mean outside of the Packers?
And that's what I'm thinking, too.
Packers? All right,
Watch
never
it.
mind.
Who is this guy working for?
I'm on a family show
Who's Bill
here.
working for?
I don't work for the Packers, I'll tell you that.
What do you think, Jay?
I'm not sure.
I like teams that like the Ravens when they go like the all black at home. I always like that. Just football,
I like
just sort of I guess the mentality or just all black, tough, I guess. But I don't know. It depends if you like Cincinnati Bengals, Tigers, stripes on your helmet, or if you like traditional like a Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think the Jets throwback uniform looked pretty good. But,
I don't know.
We can move on to the next question, guys.
Please do.
Another if you question from Dan in Marshfield. If you could play any other sport professionally, what one would it be?
I'd definitely be a golfer. I like golf.
Golfing.
See, I could see golf. You play golf 4 times a week and bank $1 million a week. That's a pretty good gig.
I don't know, actually. Maybe baseball pitchers have a pretty nice life. Pitch every 5 or 6 days, and you're pretty much
You're a pretty
coasting.
good basketball player, bro.
I was okay, but I can't claim basketball because my brother has that.
I got you.
And I thought it was my question. Why are you answering?
We got time for one quick one.
I don't have another one.
You don't have another one.
Wow.
No. I could go to the phone real quick, but it
No.
took me a second to pull it.
All right,
I
that's-
apologize for that.
That's all right. The Atlanta Falcons are next for the Packers. We'll talk more about that in our next segment. But they've kind of been a struggling team at this point in time. They are 2-2. Had to hang on for dear life. In fact, they had to sit and wait to see if a 61-yard field goal attempt was going to be good yesterday or not. Otherwise, they could have been 1-3. We'll talk more about the Falcons in our next segment. We'll also pick our email segment winner for the week. That's coming up in just 3 minutes from right now. Back with more from Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly after this on the Woodward Radio Network. We're back at Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly. Good to have you along. B.J. Raji, and our special guest tonight is Jarius Wynn. The 2-2 Falcons are right around the corner. Before we spend more time on them, it's time now to hand out our winning package for our email winner. Justin.
Based on the mental image of BJ playing free safety and Jarius playing receiver, we'll go with Mark from Fond du Lac. Had the question on the other positions. He'll pick up the prize pack.
Nice.
That'd be a good collision, though. If you were a receiver and you were.
How about you be the receiver? And
Who would
I'll
win
be the
that one?
safety?
You'd win it?
Huh?
Who would win that collision?
I'll probably knock him out, but
I'll probably shake him up.
what do you expect us to say?
All right, thanks, Mark. Congratulations on the email package win. All right, Atlanta barely squeaked by, 30-28 yesterday. Seattle attempting, as I mentioned, that 61-yard game-winning field goal that fell just short. Matt Ryan did a lot of scrambling yesterday to pick up some key first downs. Whenever you see a quarterback moving around a lot, I would imagine that adds to your preparation level as the week goes on.
Yeah, but he's not the typical. No, he's not.
He's not Michael Vick.
Right. When you think of Matt Ryan, you're not thinking, oh, let's like look out for him running the ball. You're thinking obviously of his passing and his great decision making. He obviously has some pocket awareness, so that kind of helps him move the chains. But our number one goal is going to be to stop the run, as always.
Yeah, their offensive line was better yesterday. I don't believe they had a sack. Seattle didn't have a sack, but protecting their quarterback has been an issue. So for the Packers, you guys have been trying to get more heat on the quarterback. This could be a pretty good game for you.
I like to think so. I mean, I think I like these type of games because we have two previous games on film. So, we can look at the defenses that we called and we can see how they were trying to attack us. We had a little trouble with alignment this week with tackle over things. So we're going to expect some of that kind of things. Right. And, just ultimately just knowing it's the type of team that they're not going to change overnight. I mean, they obviously have a receiver like Julio Jones, which they've been doing a little more passing, but they're not going to change their philosophy, and we have to be ready for that.
Yeah, Julio Jones had a big day yesterday, 227 yards on 11 receptions as well. But Michael Turner is the load. You guys have both had shots at Turner in the past. I'll start with you, Jarius. What kind of back is he to try to bring down?
Oh, he just one of those big guys like this guy, but playing running back, real explosive. You got to hit him before he gets started. That's how I feel about it.
I think, with how they tried to attack us last year, I think that penetration and just making him have to cut and adjust before he's really ready to. I think because he's a shifty back, but he's no Adrian Peterson. He's he's not an Arian Foster. He's not going to put his foot in the ground and change direction and drop up a dime. So I think penetration, different blitzes and stunts up front definitely helps you. I think overall just being physical and at the point of attack with the offensive line, because it's more of a zone scheme. Like this week was a little bit more power, a lot of double teams and power and ISO plays. His team's more of a stretch team and a little more finesse.
Yeah, he looks like a guy that doesn't want to do a lot of cutting. I mean, he wants to pretty much run downhill, maybe have one cut, not a huge one.
Mm-hmm. Right. He's definitely he's built from the ground up. He has a strong explosive lower body, and I think that he runs well and he plays within his element. I think that's the biggest thing with players in this league. The good ones tend to stay away from their weaknesses and kind of play on their strengths.
You guys always do your tackling technique things every week and
Right.
work on that stuff, but is there any more emphasis when you got a guy like, you don't want to be arm tackling this guy.
Right. It's a fine line because there's no live tackling, obviously, during the week of a practice. So, I think tackling, I feel, is a mentality. I think there's obviously things you can teach, where to put your head, where to have your feet, where to have your hands. But I think that tackling and playing defense, number one's a mentality. I think that we'll have the right mentality Sunday night, and we should have a good performance.
Looking back at that divisional playoff game last year in Atlanta, 48-21. You guys were just getting it rolling at that point and feeling and playing really good football. Right. Were you even just a little surprised at how easy that became?
No, because to be honest with you, obviously after losing to him, and I forget what week it was, maybe 14 or 15, I don't know.
Yeah.
But after losing to him in the way we lost, We were obviously very, very critical of ourselves. Right. And going back into the same venue and having to play the same team, that was probably at that time a little too overconfident in my opinion. You know, some of the things that were said in the media, I just really didn't understand, but that's another issue. But I think that going down there and just some of the things in the first game that we just didn't make the mistakes all season, for whatever reason, we couldn't come up with the plays. That was probably one of our poorest tackling performances the first game of all season. And I think that, like I said, we changed our mentality. We came in to attack, and I think that it was a great overall team victory.
Well, certainly the Packers have a lot of confidence going down to Atlanta and playing there. It's a difficult place to win, at least it has been for the rest of the NFL, Jarius, but the Packers seem to have no problem going down there and competing with Atlanta.
Oh, no, we look at it as, you know, we hold ourselves to a different standard. You know, we work on not beating ourselves, and, you know, we going out there to get the win, and, you know, we're going to have a lot of fans there, so it's going to feel like we're at home.
All right, guys, good luck.
All right.
Brings back another victory, 5-0.
We'll do our best.
All right, Jarius, good luck to you.
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Jarius Wynn. BJ, we'll see you next week.
Hi, Bill.
BJ Raji, special thanks to Mike Steele, our engineer, Reggie Razoo back in our studios, pulling everything together for us again tonight. Justin Hull, I'm Bill Scott. We'll see you again next Monday right here at Tanner's, 6 o'clock in Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network.